Hello students, in this video we are going to study about the fundamental unit of life, the chapter 5th of class 9th. So first of all we are going to understand what is the meaning of the word life, living thing. What makes us different from a non-living thing? Like there is a question that comes into our mind, how are we different from a table or a rock? So the answer to the question that how we are different from a rock or a table lies in this slide. That is the characteristics of a living things. If a person or a living thing can able to move, to respire, to sensitize the environment around him, if he can grow, can reproduce or excrete the waste material from our body, or extract nutrition from various modes. These are few of the characteristics that can make different from a living thing and a non-living thing. And the basic difference that lies between non-living thing and the living thing lies in the word cell. The cell is the basic unit of life. It is defined as the structural and functional unit of life. It looks like a layer of compartments that are present on one above the another like a brick wall or an onion peel. Here there is a cell or the compartments that are present, and these compartments are known as cell. Why cell is called a structural unit of life? Cell is called the structural unit because the body of all organisms is made up of a cell. That means it forms the structure of an organism. That is why cell is called as a structural unit. On the other hand, it is also called as the functional unit of life because it performs all the functions of our body. All the functions involves the physiological function, the growth, the nutrition, the movement, the respiration, biochemical functions, as well as the genetic function where genes are transferred from parents to offspring in the form of reproduction, in the process of called reproduction. So because the cell performs all the functions of our body, that is why it is also known as structural unit of life. Now coming to the contribution of various scientists who have contributed towards the discovery of a cell. First scientist is Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke discovered the thickened walls of cells but could not able to identify the materials that are present in it. So he used a cork or a bark of tree and observed it under a microscope, and he saw the structure that resembles to that of honeycomb. These honeycomb-like structure consist of numerous compartments, and he called these compartments or a little room as cells, whereas cells is the Latin word. Another scientist who contributed toward the discovery of cell was A.V. Leeuwenhoek or Anton von Leeuwenhoek. He first described the living cells as in the form of free cells, or it has been called as a bacteria. In 1974, he discovered these free cells in the form of bacteria. And in 1978, he discovered sperms and described the sperm cells of human, dogs, rabbits, insects, frogs, and fish. He investigated cells in the following ways, that is bacteria, protist, sperm cells, blood cells, nematodes, or the roundworms. Next contributor was Robert Brown. He noticed that pollen grains in the water jiggled around in a Brownian movement. Brownian movement means the zigzag movement of the particle, and he discovered the term nucleus in the year 1831. The next scientist is J. Purkinje. He coined the term protoplasm for the fluid substance of the cell, which means the fluid substance that is present in a living material is called as the protoplasm. Next, after the discovery of cell, there was the theory called as cell theory given by various scientists, Schleiden or Matthias Schleiden, Theodor Schwann, and Rudolf Virchow. Thomas Schleiden proposed the idea that all the plants are made up of cells, whereas Schwann independently asserted that all the animals are made up of cells, and both plants and animals jointly form the basis of cell theory. On the other hand, the scientist Rudolf Virchow in 1855 presented the idea that all the cells arise from pre-existing cells. Pertaining to the theory given by the three scientists Schleiden, Schwann, and Rudolf Virchow, the cell theory was proposed, and the postulates of the cell theory were that first is all the organisms or the living things are composed of cells or the cell products like excretions or secretions. All the metabolic reactions takes place in the cell, and thus the cells are the basic units of structural and functional unit. As according to Rudolf Virchow, it has also been postulated that all the cells are produced from the pre-existing cells, and every organism starts its life as a single cell. As we know that cell is a basic unit of life, so all the organisms are made up of a microscopic unit called cell. Therefore, cell is the basic structural and functional unit of organism. Therefore, the organisms such as bacteria, protista, fungi, plants and animals all belong to the category of cell, and they shows proper structures and its functions to be perpetuated as a living organism. So let us see about the cell number, or how the cell has been differentiated according to their number, their size, as well as their shape. Depending on their cell number, cell organisms can be divided into two types, that is unicellular or multicellular. If an organism are made up of a single cell, uni means single. If an organism is made up of a single cell, then those organisms are called as unicellular organisms. For example, amoeba, bacteria, and chlamydomonas. On the other hand, if the organisms are made up of millions of cells, then those organisms are called as multicellular organisms. For example, plants, and we as animals. Another aspect is the size of the cell. The cells varies from one organism to another, and there are variety of organisms. They on which the size of the cell is being differentiated. They measures from micrometers or microns. The smallest cell present is mycoplasmas, nerve cells, that is the longest cell present, and the largest cell present is the ostrich egg. So they are observed under microscope, and according to their size, their structure, they can be differentiated into the longest, largest and the smallest cell. On the other hand, the shape of the cell also varies in different organisms, and it is different from plant cell to animal cell. It is There are of various types like spherical, oval, elliptical, spindle shaped, cuboidal, polygonal, columnar or flat plate like structures. These structures depends on one organism to another organism. Thus, we can say the cell has the diverse structure in terms of size and shape. They may be longer, they may be smaller, they may be nucleated, they may be enucleated, and depending on their shape, size, they perform various functions. In the next video, we are going to study about the functions of the cells. Thank you for watching. Hope you like this video, and thank you.